There are so many people to thank, I don't know where to begin, but I'll try. I want to thank my good friend, Dean Kaelin, chair of the musical tribute for this year. Dean, please rise as I call your name. Judy White, Joseph chair, members of our board, all members of the Interfaith Month and Musical Tribute Committee, please stand up. Our executive director, for the first time we have an executive director, Reverend Alan Stanley's of the Episcopal Church. I know out there somewhere is my good friend and mentor, Brian Farr, who was the last chair of the Roundtable, and I would say he's my peace mentor, who I'm very grateful for. Also Elaine Emney, who's stood by me as I've taken on being chair of the Roundtable, and of course my wife, who is the webmaster of the Roundtable, who I asked, would you please consider doing the Interfaith Roundtable website, which is interfaithroundtable.org. And I haven't seen my wife since that couple years, since she's now in front of that computer doing all of that work. Special thanks to Mary Dixon of KUED to be our MC. Here on behalf of Governor Gary Herbert, who I know to be a gracious and kind man. And special thanks to Elder H. David Burton, also a great man, a man who's actually in charge as presiding bishop of the physical assets, so to speak, of the LDS Church. When I first met him, he gave me a hug. And you know, you don't think of that when you're meeting, let's say, like an accountant or a lawyer or somebody in charge of real estate around the entire world for the LDS Church, but that's the kind of man he is. Special thanks to John Moran and many people I cannot mention. They're just too numerous, who are part of the audiovisual folks at the LDS Church and the Tabernacle here who make this happen. And special thanks to the LDS Church itself, which spends countless hours and dollars, quite frankly, supporting the Roundtable. So let's give them a good round. I know it's getting late, but we only do this once a year, and this is critically important in this world today. We are the Salt Lake Interfaith Roundtable. When we say interfaith, we mean faith cooperation. We are not about blending faiths. We are about strengthening faiths. The problem in the world today is not the faith in the world. The problem in the world today is that people do not follow their own faith. Gosh, all this applause, I feel like it's a State of the Union or something. Okay. There is a belief in infinity, which is universal. For instance, no one can count what the highest number is. There is no limit to the amount of wisdom, knowledge, or understanding one can obtain. Each faith here today that you've seen do a variety of things in front of you has a share of this infinity. And what is a part of infinity? All you mathematicians out there, you know what that answer is. Any part of infinity is infinite itself. Therefore, we are all here as equals. In my own faith, Judaism, for instance, it is repeated, it's even been repeated here, over 30 times, the importance of caring for strangers, the widows, orphans, those that are less fortunate than ourselves. Why is this repeated over 30 times? Because this is the hard one, my friends. It is so easy to fear other people rather than to love them. Every major faith addresses the issue of caring and the need for charity. All faiths teach us to do things that sometimes are not easy to do, and sometimes the holiest things are the most difficult. And when we go to help a stranger, sometimes we are singled out ourselves, and it's at our own risk. But as a great Muslim in Salt Lake City taught me, only trees that bear fruit have stones thrown at them. The goal of the Roundtable is to allow people to be holy, be a tree with fruit, so to speak, and not have stones thrown at them. We must work hard to fight the forces of xenophobia, the forces that would cause us to fear strangers. We must choose love over fear. While those on the early Mormon pioneer trails knew what it was like to be treated like strangers, they know of an angry mob that killed Joseph Smith at the age of 38. The Sikhs, who you saw here, they lost prophets as well as they clung to their faith. As part of my Jewish faith, we lost millions not long ago. Native Americans in this very country face perhaps the largest acts of genocide on the planet. To the Americans with Japanese ancestry, they know what it was like to be forced to move into camps because of fear during World War II. All faiths and belief systems know what it is to suffer. All faiths know the dangers of mob rule, or when a group of people act out of fear rather than knowledge and understanding. Here in Salt Lake City, the Mormon pioneers settled in this valley because of the protection of the Wasatch Mountains. Today, those mountains are a source of recreation and beauty, but back then, those mountains meant life or death. The Roundtable today, our Salt Lake Interfaith Roundtable, is the substitute for those mountains. Our getting together as faiths is a stronger protection and builder of real peace than any wall or mountain. And to our Native American friends, and Paiute Chief Gary Tom, who's right behind me on my left, I have 3 words for Chief Gary Tom and all our Native American friends. We love you, for your ancestors knew what it was like to be strangers in their own land. Rather than just say we are sorry, we must act to build bridges together, to build respect, love, harmony, and a real peace between our people. Therefore, many people know I can be quite comedic, but this mission is very serious. And I'm not going to just speak here in ethereal concepts. I actually have 2 homework assignments. Since it is Black History Month, the first assignment I'm going to speak about is to study Ebenezer Creek during the Civil War, as there were racists in the Northern Army as well, which stranded hundreds of freed black slaves at that creek, leaving them to be recaptured by the Southern Army and perhaps be slaves again. My friends, study something about Black history this month. It's not just Interfaith Month, it's also Black History Month. And now to all parents of children and all children here, if there is someone in your class that appears to be different and is treated like a stranger, talk to your parents and your teachers and find a way to reach out to this person. Why? Because all our holy ancestors were once treated like strangers, either here or in another land. And since we know how bad that feels, we must go out of our way to make sure that no one in the state of Utah ever feels that way again. We need this concept of infinity, this concept of infinite wisdom in our lives to get there. As it says in the Psalms, and as I heard the Sikhs say it in their own faith, Ki Yimecha Be'orchayim, Be'orcha Dera'or. For the Holy One is the source of all life. It is in the light of the Holy One that we can see light. And lastly, because I have to throw in a little more Hebrew, Deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. For her ways are ways of pleasantness. And this is the most important line to me. And all her paths are paths of peace. My friends, if we are not on a path of peace, we are not on her path. And that you can find in Proverbs. So I want to thank you all for being here. Please let this just be the beginning of our getting together as various faiths. I'm so happy we have new groups here this year that we haven't had in the past, like the New Pilgrim Baptist Choir, which was absolutely stunning, but everybody else was too. And thank you for being here, and thank you for completing those homework assignments for me. And so we look forward to seeing you all again. And with that, we will now have a benediction by Father Javier. And I won't say his last name because I will say it wrong. But he's a Catholic priest, and he's going to give a benediction in Spanish and in English. And we are very blessed to have him here today. Thank you. But before we do that, if you look at your program better than I did, you will find out that we have a song first, led by my friend Masa Fukuda and Dean Kaelin, you see over there at the piano. Dean Kaelin, by the way, used to give me vocal lessons. He got nowhere with that, so he started teaching David Archuleta. I must say things took off better that way. And so we will now let there be peace on earth, followed by the benediction.